Hello and welcome to the BMC Quick Course Series. My name is Bob Albrecht and I am a BMC IMS software consultant. In this session I will introduce and overview the recovery function within BMC's Backup and Recovery solution for IMS. The BMC Recovery utility is also available for BMC's Recovery Plus for IMS product. It is a batch utility for recovery of DLI and FastPath DEDB databases, and it functionally replaces the IBM IMS database recovery utility. It recovers one or more databases with minimal involvement of the database administrator. Several problems are currently associated with conventional recovery methods. Conventional methods recover one database dataset per job step. Although the GenJCL function of DBRC can generate the JCL to recover multiple database datasets, it generates the JCL as a set of job steps that must be run serially. When the elapsed time for synchronous recovery is too great, people must manually create JCL. They usually have to run an additional job step to copy the change accum dataset from tape to disk so the multiple steps can access it concurrently. Recovery can be done to a valid recovery time or point only. Creating periodic recovery points can be disruptive in continuous availability environments. Each recovery job step must read the change accum and/or log datasets. The same data is processed multiple times to recover multiple datasets. The utilities that validate pointers and take image copies must be run in a separate job step after the recovery job step is complete. The recovery utility addresses current problems and significantly reduces the time and resources needed to recover a database. The recovery utility can recover multiple database datasets simultaneously and with one pass of the log and change accum datasets. The recovery utility can process all dataset groups and areas that are defined to DBRC within a change accumulation group, a database dataset group, or a recovery group. And the utility can also process recovery manager groups similarly to the way that it processes change accum groups. The recovery utility offers a variety of recovery methods. The full recovery method uses a copy of the database and records of database changes to return the database to its condition before the problem occurred. Depending on the recovery assets, the recovery utility can perform a full recovery in a single-phase or two-phase process. The roll-forward recovery method is used to maintain a duplicate database or to recover a database from a type of copy that is not recognized by the recovery utility. The backout recovery method, also known as physical backout, can be used if the database to be recovered is still viable and relatively few changes have been made since the time when the problem occurred. Backout recovery uses the existing database datasets and backs out changes to return the database to its condition before the problem occurred. Backout recovery can save a significant amount of time and processing resources over forward recovery methods. The recovery utility supports point-in-time recoveries. This capability is important because the recovery utility does not require you to periodically switch logs to establish recovery points. This results in reduced online overhead, fewer log tapes or cartridges, and a reduced chance of IMS lockouts due to insufficient online logs. Because of its features, the BMC Recovery utility can recover one or more databases substantially faster than the IBM IMS database recovery utility. Through its automated operator interface, the recovery utility can issue IMS commands that synchronize IMS with the recovery process. The recovery utility works with other BMC utilities to rebuild primary and secondary indexes, check pointers to ensure validity, and create new image copies while recovering. The recovery utility can process multiple recovers all at the same time asynchronously or one at a time. Additional time is saved because it is not necessary to run change accum step before a recovery. Also, the recovery utility can read the compressed image copy datasets produced by the BMC image copy utility or the recovery utility. This capability reduces the amount of media that is needed and reduces the run times because of the smaller dataset sizes. With the recovery utility, less time and skill are required to create and maintain recovery JCL. The recovery utility can dynamically allocate all of the datasets necessary to perform recoveries. For input, the recovery utility can dynamically allocate the image copy, change accumulation, and log datasets using information provided by DBRC. For output, the recovery utility can dynamically allocate the database datasets using dynamic allocation members, or for HALDBs and DEDBs definitions in DBRC. Models provide a simple and flexible method for dynamically allocating output datasets. The recovery utility can dynamically allocate the optional output image copy datasets using information you specify about the dataset name, unit type, and retention period. With the automatic restart feature, no JCL or control statement changes are needed for you to resubmit a recovery job step after one or more recovery tasks failed during the previous execution. The recovery utility can produce status messages about recovery processing and can generate valuable statistical reports about the recovered databases. The recovery utility can perform a simulated recovery. A simulated recovery can help you verify that the recovery job will produce the desired outcome. The utility reads all input datasets, that is, the logs, change accums, and image copies, but it does not write the output databases, and it does not obtain authorization for registered databases. By defining user-defined options in the Global Options module and by using dynamic allocation, you can reduce or eliminate changes to your recovery job streams when the environment changes. The recovery utility provides a method that you can use to customize the utility job step return codes or cause a user abend in response to a specific message. The recovery utility can create log extract datasets and change accumulation extract datasets to prevent reprocessing of log and change accums during a restart. Also, the recovery utility supports encrypted image copies. Since an organization's backup and recovery strategy might call for the production of additional copies of recovery assets, the Recovery Extensions feature maintains information about any additional copies of those assets. The Recovery Extension feature provides automated access to additional image copy datasets and change accumulation datasets during process of the recovery function of the recovery utility, the incremental image copy function of the image copy utility and change accumulation utility, or the change accumulation function of the change accumulation utility. As I mentioned earlier, the utility can process recovery manager groups similarly to the way that it processes change accum groups. If you want to use the Recovery Extensions feature to access recovery manager groups or to manage additional recovery assets, the recovery manager functions and utilities of the backup and recovery solution for IMS product or the recovery manager for IMS product must be active. This concludes our overview of the recovery function and the recovery utility. Thank you for your time. For more information about this or any other BMC mainframe product, please visit the URL shown here.